Little kids, even teenagers, may believe in the boogeyman, but it's usually in the form of a ghost or a monster under the bed. Rarely do they fear actually encountering a real-life boogeyman, and that's because they're typically sheltered from life's harsh realities. And news and stories about scary people like Ted Bundy, Rex Heuermann. 14-year-old Emily Pike snuck out of her bedroom window in a group home in Mesa, Arizona. This home was more than 100 miles from her actual house, the one that Emily grew up in, on the San Carlos Apache Reservation in Arizona. One of her friends from the group home said that Emily wanted to go see a boy that she'd met at her guitar lesson when she snuck out of the home. She snuck out on January 27th of 2025 at approximately 8:20 p.m. Tragically, somewhere after she was last seen at the corner of Mesa Drive and McKellips in Mesa, Emily met a real-life boogeyman, likely masquerading as a nice person willing to help. What we do know is that Emily ended up deceased with some of her body discarded in heavy-duty plastic bags near Globe, Arizona. Her remains were discovered by a hiker on February 14th, Valentine's Day of 2025. From the condition of the remains, it seems more likely that she ended up deceased closer to February 14th than to January 27th. It would take roughly 2 more weeks for the remains to be ID'd as those belonging to Emily. It is frightening to imagine the possibility that she was held for an extended period by her boogeyman. It seems likely as well that she was essayed and roughed up, if you know what I mean. Emily had run away from this group home before, and it seems pretty clear that she did not enjoy her life there. But she was sort of between a rock and a hard place, because her life on the reservation was also not full of unicorns and rainbows. In fact, her home in Peridot was marked by instability. Her parents had been separated for a long time, and her father seemed to go in and out of prison on a revolving basis. Most recently, he was charged with arson. Although her mother retained custody of her, the mother had a history of substance abuse. The home there was a deteriorating manufactured home that she shared with her brother, her mother, her grandmother, aunts, and others. The residents sat along a dirt path strewn with broken glass and overgrown cacti. In a word, the house was chaotic. It had unreliable plumbing, as well as a leaking roof that was patched up with tarps. The San Carlos Apache Reservation, what should have been a sanctuary for Emily, was not. At age 13, she was essayed on that reservation. Although the tribal authorities arrested a relative in connection with the incident, the alleged assailant was ultimately released without prosecution. And so in August of 2023, due to concerns for her safety, Emily was removed from her mother's custody and placed in that group home in Mesa, Arizona. The San Carlos Apache Tribe's Social Services Department placed Emily at Sacred Journey, Inc., which is a residential child care center in Mesa. Her mother, Steph DeSella, was prohibited by tribal social services from having contact with Emily. This may explain why her mother did not find out that she was missing for more than a week after Emily snuck out the bedroom window. In early September of 2023, the group home staff reported that Emily had tried to unalive herself, and Emily was hospitalized. On September 11th of 2023, Emily and another child went missing from the Mesa group home. They left at 6:12 a.m., and it sounds like they escaped through a bedroom window and a side gate. And the two girls were eventually located at a Mesa playground at Kleinman Park. When questioned by the police, both of the girls said they didn't want to return to the group home because they were forced to clean. They had to scrub walls, baseboards, windowsills, and even get on their hands and knees to scrub grout on the tile. One of the girls told the police that she would run away again if she was returned. She said that she'd rather go to jail or live with her grandmother. On September 20th, again of 2023, Emily was reported missing yet again. This time an officer en route to the group home spotted Emily, and upon making contact, Emily told the officers she did not want to go back to the group home because, quote, it makes her uncomfortable when the staff gets into arguments with other juveniles in the home, end quote. At the group home's request, Emily was sent for evaluation to Mind 24/7, a mental health facility, before she was returned to the home. Skip to October 31st of 2023, and the staff reports yet again that Emily has run away. This is the fourth time. The home calls officers to let them know at 9:15 p.m. that Emily had returned. The staff overhears her saying that she had been laced, which I guess means drugged, but she was not sent for medical care. Her behavior was monitored overnight. About a week later, on November 8th of 2023, at 10 a.m., Emily attempted once again to unalive herself. The staff found her in a master bedroom closet with a shoestring that was tied to a doorknob. At the end of the month, on November 26, 2023, after being released from the mental health hospital, Emily was picked up by her aunt and uncle. They took her on a Thanksgiving trip through Colorado, Wyoming, and Utah so that she could meet other relatives. During the trip, however, Emily's behavior raised concerns. The day after Thanksgiving, there was a disagreement that set off a chain of events. Emily ran away, and when a cop found her, she refused to leave with her relatives. Once again, she expressed thoughts of unaliving herself, telling them that she wanted to die and she would see them in hell. The situation ultimately led to her hospitalization and a return flight to Arizona, where she was placed in a secure behavioral health facility. It was in December of 2024 that Emily returned to the group home in Mesa. And then, of course, we know what happened on January 27th of 2025. Emily ran away on foot and was last seen near Mesa Drive and McKellips Road. So Emily disappears, and then on February 2nd of 2025, an unknown anonymous caller left a voicemail at the group home claiming that Emily was with her mother on the San Carlos Apache reservation. On February 6, a Facebook post made the same claim. However, the police found out it was false. Emily's mother confirmed that she hadn't heard from Emily. It's hard to know who might have left those notes. Was it the perpetrator, or was it just somebody preying on vulnerable people? So again, I say that life in the group home was not perfect for Emily. Life on the reservation also was not perfect. And we know that Native American women experience DV at a much higher rate than the general U.S. population. More than 84% of Native women have experienced DV. And Native American women are 2.5 times more likely to be essayed than any other ethnic group. Many reservations experience high poverty rates. The Navajo Nation in Arizona has a poverty rate around 40%. And where there's poverty, there's hopelessness. And sometimes people turn to alcohol, and sometimes they turn to illicit substances. So this was the backdrop of Emily Pike's life. Sometimes when we're teenagers, we think we're invincible. We think we know more than everybody else. We don't really believe in real-life boogeymen. Somewhere, at some point, Emily crossed paths with a monster. It takes a special kind of criminal to do to Emily what was done. And so far, this person has not been caught. What has happened recently is that the family of Emily Pike has decided to sue the Mesa group home from which she ran away. The family is accusing the home of failing to follow proper protocols to report Emily missing and to protect her. And the family said they filed the lawsuit to force group homes to better safeguard children in their care and to seek justice for Emily. We also know that 30 children were reported missing from that group home. However, those reports were for not 30 different kids. Some of the kids had run away multiple times. It's scary to think that there is a serialist loose in the state of Arizona or loose in the country. This could be a trucker. It could also be somebody from the reservation. Maybe that's why Emily, in that perpetrator's mind, had to be unalived. But what are the chances of someone from the reservation finding Emily in Mesa? Or did she maybe hitch a ride to another location where this person picked her up? There's still so many questions about this case and so few answers. Now, another girl went missing from the same group home, and that was Veronica Cruz. Veronica went missing on May 18th of 2024, but supposedly she has since been reunited with her family, and that took place on April 3rd of 2025. It's unclear why she didn't reunite with them sooner if people had an idea of where she was. A police report about Cruz said that she'd been seen in Casa Grande and attempts had been made to locate her previously. I think things need to change on the reservation. It's unacceptable for a child to be essayed by a relative. Of course, it's not just happening on reservations. It's happening all over. But the incident number is greater on the reservations. We also know that there's a drinking problem and illicit substances. A child like Emily needed to be protected, whether it was in her family home, on the reservation, or in that group home. Either way, everybody seems to have failed her. And with a father in and out of prison, a mother who was not consistent enough to be reliable for Emily, it seems like she didn't have anywhere to go to find safety and stability. It's no wonder that she was thinking of doing something terrible to herself. Maybe she felt hopeless at that point. But Emily was a precious human being, and whoever did this to her needs to be found, because this type of person will do it again. That's all for now, and I'll see you next time on Bed Crime Stories. Smash that like button.